PCU started way back in 1979, and that was after the fall of the dictator Idi Amin. The pioneer of this work of the Presbyterian Church in Uganda was Dr. Kefa, and he was under persecution by the Amin's regime, so he fled to the Netherlands for refuge. Then later on he moved on to the United States after going to Westminster Theological Seminary in Philadelphia. He returned back to Uganda and started engaging himself in church planting work, which later on turned out to be the Presbyterian Church in Uganda. Right now we have a number of presbyteries. We have Central Presbytery, we have Kampala Presbytery, we have Semelik Presbytery, which is far west, and then we have Kapchora Presbytery, it is in the east. Then we have the Gulu Presbytery. Ideally, the church is growing, and we feel the Lord is doing great work in our midst. We are a Reformed denomination. We believe in the sovereignty of the Lord. We believe in the 5 points of Calvinism, and that actually sets the foundation for our teaching. We also have the Westminster Confession of Faith as our subordinate standard in terms of teaching and instruction. Our services are reformed. We sing psalms. We also integrate spiritual songs. We have time for the preaching of the word. We give more time to the preaching of the word because we feel the word is more important in terms of grounding people in the faith. So we are so much Bible-based in our instruction and teachings. During the week, we have different activities that take place. We have Bible studies, we have prayer meetings. The church gathers for prayer both at church and also in homes. We also have different groups, like the women group meet for some activities that are related to the women setting. We have the youth groups also meeting for their own activities during the course of the week. Also, sometime at the end of the month, we hold general prayer meetings in our individual local churches. We meet and pray and share the word and share testimonies as pertains to what the Lord is doing in our midst. Initially, I had my training here in Uganda. My undergraduate studies were done in Uganda. Then later on in 2002, a door was opened up for me to go for my graduate studies, and that opportunity was in Westminster Theological Seminary in California. And after completing, I came back and continued with the work of ministry at the college, as well as pastoring a church which I've been a pastor, of which I've been a pastor until recently, when a new pastor was called in by the congregation because of the many responsibilities that were beginning to come my way. So now I'm concentrating on coordination and teaching. The pastoral work has been taken over by a new pastor in Covenant Presbyterian Church. That is the church I've been pastoring until last year, June 2010.
This is Westminster Theological College and Seminary. It is the Presbyterian Church in Uganda, denominational institution for training pastors and teachers and Christian workers. Some of them come in here when they are already pastors, which is usually unique from the Western perspective, because usually in the West you have to be trained before you enter into ministry. But these are men who have already been in ministry. They come in here and they see there is a need to be grounded in the Bible and other related disciplines. And then we have those who come in as young, people, high school graduates, who have not had any ministry experience, and they have a feeling that God has called them to ministry. So they come here for training. And we have also women who come in also for training to go back and help in their churches, Sunday school classes, or even in schools. Some of them go back and they become teachers. When the Presbyterian Church was founded in Uganda, we never had such a school. We never had a reformed theological, institution that is biblical. We have a cross-section of students from different countries.
My name is Benjamin Wafulawarunga. I'm from Kenya.
I'm called James Higa. I'm a pastor in the Presbyterian Church in Uganda, and I come from Uganda.
Pastor Fred Sempija. I'm from Kamuli. It is in eastern Uganda. This is my first time in this seminary, and I'm enjoying the lectures.
My name is Edward Habihirwe. I'm from Spiritual Revival Church in Rwanda. I'm a pastor.
I'm Samson. I come from the western part of this country, from the Presbyterian Church.
My name is Luke. I'm from Kampala City.
I'm called Charles Senyonga. I come from Mbarara town, on the western side of Uganda.
Called Allen Chiwanuka, and I'm from Zana Community Presbyterian Church. My husband is the pastor, and I'm the pastor's wife there.
I'm called Jean-Pierre, which is a front name. I'm from Burundi, Bujumbura. I go to Église Vivante, which is a living church in Jabe.
My name's Fred Chibaye from the Republic Democratic of Congo in the eastern part of Bukavu, and we serve the Presbyterian Church of Congo, exactly in the town of Bukavu.
Well, I teach quite a number of courses, Old Testament. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing the book of Numbers to Deuteronomy. And I also teach ethics. I teach history, African church history, actually, for that matter. I was out in Nairobi. I was teaching in another Bible school there. I am a pastor by calling, but I think also God has given me a gift for teaching, so I enjoy both. I enjoy preaching, I enjoy pastoring, I enjoy teaching. And I've always been teaching, by the way, alongside my pastoral ministry.
It was in 1980 when I was in high school, and for the first time I had the gospel of grace, because I come from a Roman Catholic background, and my grandfather and my father were really Catholics. And I mean, we struggled, we worked. It was by works and works and works. But when the grace of God appeared to me, that's when I said, this is the Reformation. Okay, it started with my heart. And I was so excited about it, I never even went back. So I wanted to study more. And getting into church history, okay, looking at the history of the church and to see how the church was being decayed in the dark ages, and God raising up men like John Calvin and Martin Luther, and the list is endless. That got me excited, and I said, oh, he can also use me. Okay, he can also use me. So my view of the Reformation is that the church continues to reform every day. Each one of us needs a reformation. It hasn't ended until Christ comes back.
Now we are in a town north of Kampala called Luero, and this is where we have the Luero Presbyterian Church, and to which I am the pastor. The service on Sunday, we have it in 2-2. When we come, we open up with a word of prayer, And also, after opening up with a word of prayer, we have some songs to sing, and then we break up into classes. We have these classes, we call them Sunday school classes. We have the adult Sunday school class, which comprises of all the adults in the church, and also we have the children's Sunday school. My preaching has been basically on leadership, because we had just brought in new elders and new deacons, so there was a need for the people to know how the leadership of the church goes and the responsibility of those into leadership towards the congregation, and also the responsibility of the congregation towards their leaders. Basically, we've been trying to find different leaders and their qualities in the Bible. Like in the Old Testament, we've been quoting Moses as to how his leadership was, men like Joshua, how their leadership was. And then when we come to the New Testament, we've been using the book of Timothy, as when Paul writes to him and instructs him as to how he has to lead the church. So those are some of the main characters we've been looking at.
This is the first Presbyterian church in Uganda, and started in 1979. It's the mother church of all Reformed churches in this country. I've been in this church since it started 1979, and serving as associate pastor, and finally serving as the pastor of now. What makes me happy to be a pastor is the privilege of telling people who Jesus is and what it means to be a God's son. To me, it's a great delight. That's something I desire to do all my life. I'll never get tired of telling the story.
Kampala, of course, is the heart of Uganda, so it brings everyone from Uganda here. It's a city that is under a lot of pressure in terms of population, and the growth in population is just, you know, it's a big issue. Housing problems, employment also. Many people come here to look for employment opportunities. There are not many opportunities, so sometimes job seekers are frustrated and they end up getting into lifestyles that have negative consequences on life. So there are challenges in Kampala, like we have in many cities around the world. But the fact also that Kampala has not expanded much from the time it was built, for a small population of less than maybe 500,000 people. It's now, it has a day population of close to 2 million and even more, and possibly night population of 1 million who stay within Kampala. It's also a transit city. The people who are going to Congo, Rwanda, Burundi, and now people who are going into Sudan, they always go through Kampala for one reason or the other. So there's a lot of pressure on Kampala. It's the political seat of Uganda, and everything that happens to Kampala ripples through. It goes back to the rest of the country. Major decisions are made here. We also, as Christians, we believe that we need to establish ourselves in the city, and then we go out and reach other places. So Kampala is a city of opportunities, yes. It is a city of challenges as well as a city of opportunities. And we believe that God will enable us and raise people who will meet those challenges and keep the gospel flourishing in this city.
We reach the people through different programs. We have a ministry of visitation, and we have also outreach for the children within our area. We also extend ministries of mercy, helping people in the same area. We also have films which we show kids on the weekend or on Sundays. And also we have other gatherings like weddings, like social gatherings that we organize around this place being near the city. It means more than for the city, because when we started, it was only this first church. That's why it's called the first. As we speak now, we have 50 congregations all over the country, north, south, east, and west, and all have been reached from this church.
the New Life Ministries, we have a ministry outside the church, like the ministry of the school is where we aim at reaching young people with the gospel through the means of academics. So we have a school. It starts from preschool or pre-primary and up to mid-primary. That's from grade 1 up to grade 5 currently. So now major purpose, we have the classes every Wednesday. We have a chapel as a core of our vision for having the school. Apart from that, we have other ministries to the youth. We reach out to the youth. Every Saturday, the youth gathers here and they reach the community with the gospel as youth. And the purpose of this ministry is to get youth to know Christ, to win them to Christ. That's one of our major things we look at in our ministries.
When we go into the rural areas, we use the ministry called Village Uplift, where we preach the gospel, but our preaching is basically, we begin with the ministry of mercy. We start with meeting the needs of the people, felt needs, as a means of the basic need, which is the gospel. So it is the needs of the people, physical, leading to the spiritual need, the gospel. Practically what we do, we meeting people in the villages, we kind of train them, teach them and train them. These are 3 days activities. Every day we meet them, we pray with them, we teach them biblical principles of doing business. We lend them seeds for planting. We also are planning to lend them animals to raise. So they are not only planting but also raising animals in the rural areas.
It's a chicken project. It's layers. They are layer chicken. They are laying eggs. So when we get the profits out of this, we shall help the women in getting food, and we shall give them some money. After they're getting the profit, we shall get some money and give them, buy seeds to plant for their family. They'll get, they can borrow the money to make other projects for their own. It's a home project. Anyone can do it from home. You don't need transport to go to town to look for work. You just have to stay at your house and look after the chicken, and at the same time you sell the eggs at home. You don't need to look for market. Customers come at home in your house and they buy the chicken.
When the people doing that, it kind of helps them to lift their lives. Secondly, it brings value into their lives. And thirdly, it restores broken families. We have children running away from the villages, come to urban centers. These projects return the children to the villages, and eventually they begin to realize that God is on the other side, which opens the door for us to preach the gospel to them.
Yeah, during the week we have a series of activities going on. On Tuesday we have the women congregating, and also on Thursday, that's when the women come and meet for time of prayer and encouraging one another, and also having their own Bible studies as women. And then on Wednesday we have a Bible class for the whole church. Then we have the singing group coming in. They normally come on Friday and Saturday to do their choir singing practices. We do home visits to the members of the congregation, and this I do 2 times a week. I move around twice a week to make sure that I am able to visit everybody, and during my visits, normally I do it first of all to those whom I have not seen coming on Sunday, because I need to find out why they did not attend. Sometimes they are sick, or they've lost relatives, or they're depressed. So you visit with them first, and then you find out, encourage them, pray with them, and then you make sure that they come to church again. The biggest problem people have here is unemployment. Another big problem we have in this community, most of the children are orphans and needy, whereby those who are orphans, it has been a result of the AIDS scourge that is everywhere, and some of them have lost their parents because of natural death, and some of them have lost parents because of the wars that we've gone through into this country. And so as a church, when we see these kids come to us, we try to find out basically where they come from. And so they tell us the story about their lives, and then as a church, that's how we come in. And we feel it's our desire to have these children be raised up in a church setup. And so our plan is to come up with a home for these children.
I am employed by the government. I work in the department which is responsible for organizing elections in Uganda, the Electoral Commission. I've been in the church since I was a young child. When we came to know Christ, we were young children, and I've grown up in the church, and I've served in the church in different ministries and different roles and different capacities in the youth ministry, in the music ministry, worship, and now I serve as an elder in the church. Well, I thank God for what He's done in my life, where He's brought me from, not just me, but my family as well, and many people like me. So I believe it's my prayer that if there's any gift that I have, it has been given by God. If there's any ability that I have, it's been given by God. So when I serve in the government, I want to do my best to represent Christ there. And when I have opportunity to serve in the church, I want also to be of use to serve in the ministries of the church. So it's my prayer, my desire of my heart to be used of God and to extend His kingdom, both where I work and also within the church.
I would wish to see the church in Uganda, especially the Presbyterian Church in Uganda, continue to grow, not only in the spiritual dimension, but our passion as a denomination is to grow holistically. We want to see the church growing in the social, economic, as well as the spiritual dimensions.
Our goal as PCU basically is because I believe in a church, wherever it is an answer to the needs of the people. Now, the people in the areas where I find that there are a lot of sickness, there's a lot of poverty, there is spiritual desire, the government only can't do it. The church has to reach out with the gospel that touches the hearts. But in the same way, the church has an obligation, which is Christ given, to reach for the needs of the soul. Instead of leaving the whole responsibility to the government, to me, I feel the government may fail, but the church, if it fails, then it has failed its Lord, then it has failed God's plan for the world. We have churches like who are connecting with us in the Netherlands and the DVN, for mentioned. By the way, I've also attended that program, and many of our pastors in our denomination have been part of that, and we cherish that relationship, and we believe that it's going to expand and grow. The relationship is very important. I believe Jesus Christ in Matthew chapter 10, He sent 2 by 2. Therefore, I see the church in Uganda teaming up with the church in the Netherlands. Those are two brothers moving to win people's hearts for Christ. So the relationship is very important. It's Christ best.